has the gathers in the neck. Bottom right. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my first one that I had here.
You mean the bottom right?
Bottom right. I'm going to make another copy of this shirt right here that I had off to the side. Command C, Command F. Then I'm going to move it over to my next page. Okay, now once I get it there, I'm just going to delete this background like I did before. Just leaving my shirt. Zoom in on the front. Let me change the color of the sleeve, of the stroke. Black. Okay, so for this one, it has the stitching. Actually, we're going to put stitching and a seam there in the neck. So I'm going to go to my white arrow, and you guys should probably already have that there, but this shirt doesn't have it, so I'm going to add it now. That 2 rows of stitching that we did earlier on the other body. So Command C, Command F, and I just used the white arrow to select just this point right here at the bottom, because I wanted only the stroke from here to be copied, not the back part, just this part. And now I'm going to remove the fill from that. Fill box on top and remove the fill, so I only have the stroke. Now that, I'm going to just use my arrows on the keyboard to move it over. And this is what we did on Tuesday when we made the dash lines for the neck. I put the copy over here, come here, and drag over right here, and then drag down right here. When I see the little arrows, I can drag down. So that gives me my 1 row. And I'm going to keep that like that, actually, and then I'm going to do a row of stitching also. So I'm going to do Command C, Command F again. So I'm going to push it in a little bit, actually. Just the edge of that one. Just using those little boxes to make my adjustments. Push that in. And I want it to be a dashed line. And remember, our shortcut to the dashed line, if you have one on your page, is go to the eyedropper and then click on the dash line that you have there. So that gives me my dash line right there at the edge of that piece. So you probably had 2 rows of stitching on yours, and what you would do is just click on one of those, change it back to a solid line. Just if you click on it and it's a dash line, for example, I click on this dash line, and when I look over here in the window, I see dash line is checked. So I would uncheck dash line if I want to make a line back solid. The weight should be for your dash line is 0.5. The solid line should be 1. But mine is kind of off right now because I copied it and I made it a little bigger. But it should be 1 point for the outline and 0.5 for the dash lines. That's the formula. So it's half the weight of whatever your stroke is. Did you have it grouped? You should ungroup it if it's doing that.
So that's for binding?
This is like to represent binding here. A solid line is a seam, and then the dashed line is the stitching. So, with that, the next thing I want to do is I want to add those little gather marks that you see on the front of there to represent some gathers. So to do that, I'm going to do that by going here to the stroke window, making sure I don't have any fill, because I only want a stroke that I'm going to draw here and make some details on here. And I'm going to make the weight, I'm going to actually make the weight 0.5 for that as well. Set it up and uncheck dash, so it's not a dash line, it's a solid line that I'm going to have. And then I'm going to go here to my line segment tool and go to the arc tool. And remember the arc tool, we just used that a few minutes ago for the raglan. But I'm going to use that now. And I'm going to click here on the neck. I'm just going to click here and just drag down and pull. Just drag and pull. Drag. And once I get these on there, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go make adjustments to it. I'm going to make adjustments by going to the white arrow. With the white arrow, remember you can move specific points. So I'm going to make it look like these are a little closer up here and they kind of spread out down here. So I go to the white arrow, click on the point that's up here, and then move it where I want it to be. And even if I want to, let me just zoom in so you can see it. Even if I want to actually change the direction of the actual gather here, I can always do that with on the white arrow. I can pull down or up on these little arms and change the direction of the actual gathers. I can move them to make them longer. I can make my adjustments here to make it look nicer. Because once I click on the stroke with the white arrow, it gives me those arms. And those arms are what I use to make the adjustments with. That's what that tool does. It automatically converts strokes.
Still do the same thing here. I can get it.
Well, let's see what's wrong
White arrow and just.
with it. Good. You can go to the white arrow and you can move it wherever you want. And those little arms, when you hit it with the white arrow, those arms come out, and those arms you can do the adjustments with. And that's the same thing you did on your homework when you were doing that stuff that made your head hurt. And the thing is, you don't want it to look too staged, so you want to try to make them look a little more organic. So. Okay, now once you get these to look somewhat decent, should get them look where they're looking okay.
How do you control them? Can you move them around?
Yeah, you can. You can move them. Look at what mine is doing. Look, white arrow. I click on the point and I can move it wherever I want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the purpose of the white arrow.
First you draw those lines.
You draw those with the line segment tool first. Then you click on each one with the white arrow, and you'll see the little arms that pop up. Those little arms gives you the ability to make adjustments to the curve. And you can move the points. You can move the end of it to make it shorter or longer. And once you get them to look okay, what you want to do then is go to the black arrow. This is the black arrow. Click on one, hold shift, and click on each one.
And while you're doing that, you're still holding the shift key.
Hold shift, the whole time. Because holding shift allows you to select more objects. Release shift, once you've selected them all. And then this is when we're going to add a little detail to the actual stroke now, to make it look like it actually weans out at the bottom. So to do that, we go to our stroke window. I need my stroke window. And at the bottom of my stroke window, where it says Profile and Uniform, click that little arrow next to that. You'll get these little icons that come up. And I'm going to select this one just to see what it looks like. And then click off. And see how it makes the line look nicer. So it makes it goes from thick to thin. That's why I had you start up here and draw this way. Start up here, draw this way. So that it will make it thick from this way, from here, to thin this way. So it looks more like gathers and ruffles when you do that.
Still can't get it, it's still stuck.
Okay, I'll be right there. We'll figure it out. My shirt kind of moved around. I'm just trying to put it back together. All right, it's better.
I don't know, but I did think he was trying to do something, but. I'm trying to do squares, like, I'm trying to highlight it with just the little part, all the stuff, and then you can set up neckline. So I kind of.
Oh, no, you have to just click on the actual.
No, not the little, I don't even know, I did that way to make it the way you did.
Oh, another copy of the next one. White arrow, click on the stroke right there. Click on that. And that. Now, command C to command
I've been trying to make it with little. Shoot. That's what you're.
Okay, so that's how you do gathers for details. Okay, so we have a raglan, we have some gathers on the neck, and some little details.
On the gathers, the ends were squared or were they supposed to?
No, they're pointing.
How do you do that?
Right here in the stroke window, make sure you select them. And then you go here, you click on this.
Yeah, I see it.
Mr. Walter,
Yes.
how did you get that?
How
The
do-
arrowheads and the profile.
right here, on the stroke, on the stroke at the bottom. And sometimes on your stroke window, you might not see the drop down. You got it now? Okay, good. Perfect. All right, so now let's do another one. We're going to do the crossover tee or top. The one that has like the V-neck shape, and then it crossovers to the other side. To do that one, I'm going to just make a copy of the one that I have here. This one. Command C, Command F. Then use my arrow on the keyboard to move it over. Command Z, because it didn't copy everything. Let's do this. Click off. All right, select everything. Command C, Command F. And then I'm going to move that over to the other page. That copy. Zoom in on the top. And for this one, I'm going to delete the things I don't need. I don't need these gathers now for this. So I'm just going to select those one by one. Black arrow, just click on it and delete. Select it with the black arrow and just hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, so for this one, this body we're about to make now, I'm going to move the neck, inside back neck, off. And those stitches, just move all this stuff over. I'm just using the black arrow just to move it over, just clicking and moving it over. Off of the top. So now I need this top to be crossover, which means I need it to go like this to this side, like so. So to do that, what I'm going to do select that sleeve. Let's delete that sleeve. All right. Now let's just go to the white arrow and we're going to start removing points that we do not need for this top right now. The ones we don't need this one. So I'm going to click on that point right there with the white arrow and delete it. And click off to release it on the page. Go back to my white arrow. Then you should only click on the one point though. Now you make sure that when you select it, you're selecting just one point at a time. We're trying to go one at a time. And you'll know you selected it because it'll be filled in. Like this one's filled in and the rest are still hollow. And then once I do that, I'm going to delete that one.
I never do that. It does like a big white thing.
You got a problem
Yeah.
with that. And take the white arrow, select this point, and delete that. And take the white arrow, click on that point, and delete that one. Just that point, that center one. And then we want to delete one more, this one right here. The only one we want to keep is the one right here at the waist. Click on that point right there, and delete that.
Which one will you take?
The one at the center back neck?
Are you deleting with the white arrow?
With the white arrow. White arrow. Remember the white arrow selects specific points. White arrow, okay? Specific points with the white arrow. And we're selecting one at a time, and once you select one and delete it, you click on the page to release the top. Otherwise, you're going to delete everything after that. If you try to delete one more. You're deleting one at a time, and then release the top. And releasing means that you're going to click on the page anywhere so it's not highlighted anymore.
What was the last point you deleted?
Right here, under the arm. The one under the arm was the last one I deleted. But I kept the one at the waist.
So, before the last one, what was the?
Before that one, it was the high point shoulder on this side. No, I'm sorry, the middle. The middle of the back neck. The only one that's left is the high point shoulder right here. Now, what I want to do is go to my basic pen tool. Click here on this point down here. I want to click here. Now you look at my pen, see that little star burst that's next to it? If I get on the point, it turns to one line. That means I'm on the point. If I click, now I can see it selected the garment. Now what I want to do is draw that little curved line that I need and go up to that point that's up there. But what I'm going to do is go about here. And I'm going to click and drag up this way towards that point. And then I'm going to release, and then I'm just going to click on that point. You see the circle next to the pen tool? Click to close.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
my arrows is an X, it's not a pin.
Unlock your keys. I'm sorry, caps off.
Yeah.
Cap lock.
Thank you.
Okay, now once you do that, the next thing you want to do is adjust this curve if you need to adjust it to make it nicer or smoother. For this, with the white arrow, because you've converted the point. Remember, once you convert or curved or dragged a line, you've actually converted the point. So now we can move it. So basically, this is my other half of my top that I need right here, and I'm going to reflect it to the other side. But before I do that, I'm going to actually add my stitching here to the top. Bless you. Now to add the stitching, I do the same thing that I've done for the sleeve and the bottom hem. I use the white arrow, direct selection tool, click, drag across the point that's there, right here. Because I know a point's there because I just drew it. And then Command C, Command F. Now what I did was I copied a line a black line that had blue next to it. So that's why you see that little shade of blue right there. So what I want to do is get rid of that blue off of the line. So I come here to the fill and remove the fill. So now it took it away. I can go to my black arrow, use my arrows on the keyboard, and I can move that stroke. Just like I did for the neck of the t-shirt before. I move it, and then what I want to do is position it. I can move it with the black arrow, position it. And the reason why I wanted to copy the stroke is because it should be closer to the shape that I already have there already. So I'm just copying that. Go to my white arrow, click off, and click just on the point that's down here. Because I need to move this point so it meets the side. I click on the point and drag it down to the side. And then I can use my arrows here, the white arrow also, to make adjustments to the curve if I need to. Because when I drag it down, it's going to be slightly off when I do that. And once I have that stroke there, I select it with the black arrow, just that stroke with the black arrow. And I do Command C, Command F, and I move it over slightly because I want 2 rows of stitching next to each other. And this one here again, I want to make sure it touches on the top and the bottom. Take my white arrow and move it down. And again, use my little arms to make any adjustments I need to make sure the curve is going to be even. And I'm just going to click up here with the white arrow too to kind of move it up a little because I want it to touch the actual outside edge of the garment. Okay, now once I get them adjusted, I want those to be stitching. So I'm going to take the black arrow, click on one, hold shift. Remember, holding shift, I can select multiple objects. Click on this one while holding shift, eyedropper, and click on the dash line I already have there. And if it does pop fill into it, I'm just going to remove the fill off of it like that. So you never want to have fill next to your actual strokes. So now I have my 2 stitch lines and my actual sleeve and everything here. So now I'm just going to select this part right here with the black arrow. Go to my reflect tool. Make sure it says vertical, 90 degrees, and select copy. And then move that to the other side.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when I get it to the other side, if you look in the book, it's actually in the back of this part. So I'm just going to right click, arrange, and send to the back. And there's your crossover top. The only thing missing is the inside back neck. And I can simply go here to this inside back neck, bring it here, because it should fit, at least those points up there. It was round, but that's okay. All I need that to be is drag down, right click, arrange, and send to the back. And there's the top. Okay, so that's the crossover top. So from that one top, we've already made 3 more tops from that one top. And the thing too about doing these tops, you can even make it long sleeve by simply clicking on the point with the white arrow, dragging it down, clicking on the point with the white arrow and dragging it down. And you have a long sleeve top. And you just move the stitching down to the end. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Copy, reflect, and send to the.
You further than me though. I
All
said
you
you're
do is
further
make a
than me.
mirror
At least you
image.
have a T-shirt. I'm still in the process. I'm still making mine. I'm still in the assembly room.
Yeah.
Should we make this thing fun?
It should have selected all of them. So, right here, just join those two. Right there, white arrow.
Oh no. Oh crap. Oh. Oh no, no, no. Undo, undo, I'm trying to do my I'm sorry. I'm trying to do my my stitching, and every time I select it, it's selecting everything.
Direct select. And then you should have a point there to click on. And then you just change it to dashes and stuff. You do that with the bottom. You do that, do the 2 lines, and you can reflect it and take it over there. And then the bottom you do the same way, but you just raise it up.
Okay, so here, just do reflect.
No, wait until you've done the dashes and you've got 2 rows of it.
Okay, thank you.
Like I didn't add it to it, I just because I'll forget. Because what I learned right now is that so that one is filled in, so it's covering the other one. Okay, and then so this one. I didn't. Well, I didn't. I just did one line. He did 2 lines. So I didn't do it right.
Oh my god, what did I do? No, what the heck? Undo that, undo it, undo it, undo it.
Oh my god.